Just got back from performing at the Magic Castle. Got to see a lot of friends. Some really great people came out to see me. Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller got to see what I do, and he seemed to appreciate it. But it reminded me of the first time that I was at the Magic Castle. The first time I performed there, what a lot of people don't know is I got into magic, not just magic, my particular type of magic. I got into magic because of my father. That's what that 8 ball in my wallet is about. I didn't know what type of magic I wanted to do. I would just do tricks. I had these little gags that I would do. Then one day I saw on TV the world's greatest magic from the Magic Castle. There was a guy by the name of Brian Gillis who had this, this character, but it wasn't a character. It was just Brian. It was just a guy who was funny and did some magic. Had some quick wit about him, and would perform with people at a table just hanging out. And as soon as I saw that, I knew that was the style of magic that I wanted to do. I knew that's what magic in reality. That's always felt right to me. Not having a clue that Brian Gillis was also from Buffalo. And he went out to LA and he appeared on a Tonight Show a bunch of times, and it was his style that allowed me to be conversational, not realizing it was the style of Buffalo. I got to hang out with Brian the first time I went to the castle, and it was amazing because the first time I'm performing at the castle, I'm performing with the guy in the audience who got me into magic because he performed at the castle. And here he is sitting in my audience. And this is, I'm working for David Blaine. I'm writing magic for the TV show. I went from Buffalo to LA, working at the Magic Castle, which is like the #1 venue in America. The guy who got me into magic is sitting in my audience. And then he asked me to help him teach magic. That he knew how to do the tricks, but he wanted to share it. And we got a lot of footage of Brian teaching his magic, but I really helped him in telling him what principles he was using, because he would, as a professional performer, he would just do it. This was just something that he did, that he learned. So I'm helping the guy teach the magic that got me into magic. And even like around that time, Jeff McBride had told me that my 3-card Monte trick is the trick that he carries with him everywhere. And Jeff McBride was the first videos that I would watch, learning manipulation and how to vanish cards. And I'm sitting there at the Magic Castle, and all of this is flowing through my head, and I'm thinking, I've made it. I'm here. This is where I wanted to be. I've achieved it. And then, but in my mind, I had immediately said, no, it's an art form. You haven't made it. You're just ready to begin. And as soon as I said no, in my mind, I saw the floor beneath me just collapse. And it was like I was looking down the rabbit hole, Alice in Wonderland. The rabbit hole is going to go further. And it wasn't like I was falling. It was like an invitation, a doorway, straight into the center of the earth, this adventure that was ready to begin. When I really thought about it, I noticed that most magicians are making the color orange. And what I mean by that is they're out there and they're saying, look what I can do. I got red and yellow, and if I put them together, it makes orange. Here's blue and red. Look, I made purple. And, well, great. You got purple now. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to paint? What are you going to make? This is your opportunity to share something of you, something that you value. If you're going to put red and yellow together to make orange, why not paint something with it? Okay, you got this orange color. Why not paint like an orange or something? Anything. Since we are talking about color, I want to share with you an artistic choice why I use a blue deck of cards instead of what magicians traditionally use is a red deck. Now, I use a blue deck for the very reasons that every other magician uses the red deck of cards. I hear magicians say, well, red is a brighter color, red is a friendlier color, red sticks out and will draw attention. But those are all the real good reasons to not use the red cards. I believe blue is better because magic is not a friendly art. Magic is not supposed to be bright and cheerful. I don't want you to look at the cards because they're red. I want you to look at the cards because I draw your attention to them. It's supposed to be about me and you, not about the cards themselves. But if you were standing here, I would ask you to name any color, not just red or blue, not the matrix colors, but I want you to name any color, and whatever color you would name right here, I would snap my fingers and that color would be there. And that is the color you were thinking of, correct? Which is weird because maybe a lot of people think of green, right? But maybe you wouldn't have think of green, maybe you would think of orange. Well, if you wanted orange, I would have made the cards orange, right? That would have been just as easy as green. I mean, you could have named any color, so why would I not be able to make them those colors? But green and orange, those are not my favorite colors. I like my colors to not have wavelengths. That is purple, and you can look that up. There is actually no wavelength to the color purple. It's weird. It is an actual illusion that we even see the color purple. There's something about the mind. But there is a color combination that is cringeworthy to me, and that is the color just yellow and white. I mean, that is horrible. I mean, I see that and I'm like, it just it hurts my eyes to look at it. But I notice people other than yellow are not naming the primary colors. They're naming colors of the rainbow, but they're not naming magenta or cyan. Those are the true primary color cards, and you can look that up too. But I want you to think of any color, not a traditional color. Any color, even if you don't know the word for it, just think of that. And I have it on the back of these cards. If I snap my fingers, you can see now I have, well, every color, because I'm not going to take any chances there. So the tip of the day: what tools or skills or things can you do that you're not putting into your art? For example, I do a little bit of juggling in my magic show. Why? Because I can juggle. I talk about art and painting in my show because I paint. I solve the Rubik's Cube in my show. And none of these things are magic. My ambigram, my signature is not magic. But these are skills that I have and things that I like to do, so I put them in the show. Anything that represents me, anything that is a part of me, I want to give. That is that's what it's all about. So, what parts of you can you add to the show? Somebody had just recently asked me, should I do Rubik's Cube magic, or is it a fad? You should not do Rubik's Cube magic. Nor should you do card magic. You should do magic for people with cards. You should do magic for people with a Rubik's Cube. The object should not be the point. If you're a Rubik's Cube person and that Rubik's Cube represents you, and if the Rubik's Cube is the best way to illustrate that point, then yeah, then Rubik's Cube, whether it's a fad or not, that is going to be timeless and the way to best present that idea. But if you're just doing Rubik's Cube magic for no reason, if you're not tapping into what the Rubik's Cube represents on an unconscious level, then it feels empty. You know, if you play chess, is there a way to add that element to your show? If you're into sports or are doing things that are physical, is there a way to add those elements to your show? Think about all the different ways you can give of yourself. That's really the key. So do what fits you. Don't just do tricks because everybody else is doing them. So yeah, once you find those skills, you can then direct your path.